him suave, call him smug, call him impossibly handsome. The one thing you can't call Nathan Drake is filler. It goes without saying that the standard set by the Uncharted series for action-adventure games this generation is an all-star worthy qualification for the male Lara Croft. But at the end of the day, Drake is a human man. What does he have that can stand up to Greek gods, cyborg ninjas, undead knights, and cats? Join us as we map the uncharted waters of Nathan Drake. Drake is what I'd call an attempt at a balanced character. He's reasonably powerful and quick, his attacks cover a good range, he can whip out a few combos, and he has some decent individual moves as well. Unfortunately, an alarming portion of his moveset is highly impractical, and his most damaging combos are difficult to pull off in regular play. Let's begin with the square button. Just like in Uncharted, pressing neutral square 3 times will perform a 3-hit melee combo for 30 AP. Right out of the gate, this attack has an annoying property for you, the player. The combo's final hit will either be a punch that the opponent will recover quickly from, or a kick that will butt drop them. The form of the final hit is chosen at random, which is annoying since the kick is the only one you can follow up with another attack. This mires Drake's combo potential somewhat, but hopefully it's something that the developers will fix in the future. Forward and square performs a haymaker punch for 20 AP. Drake will leap forward during this attack, which gives it a good reach, and it will also butt drop the opponent. Up and square throws a grenade at mid-range with an absurdly long fuse. Because it takes so much time to throw and detonate, not only will the enemy most likely dodge it, they'll have time to roll right up to you and attack you while you're recovering. For what it's worth, if an opponent is caught in the blast, they'll be mini-launched for 20 AP. I would save it for a cluster of enemies that aren't paying attention to you. Down and square will cause Drake to slide into an opponent and sweep them for 20 AP. This is another far-reaching short-range attack, but if you're close enough, you will slide right underneath your opponent and stand up on the other side, facing away from them. If this happens, you still have a split second to turn around and continue a combo. Neutral square's aerial form is a kick that will mini-launch the opponent for 20 AP. I personally don't like this move due to its incredibly short range, but it can be used in a combo if you so wish. Aerial forward and square is a very quick dropkick that will eject the opponent for 30 AP. Up and square is the only move whose aerial form remains unchanged, so the same rules for its use apply. Aerial down and square triggers a double swing with a good attack radius. This will yield 20 AP and is a good move for starting off combos. We'll come back to those later. Moving on to triangle, here is where you'll find Drake's guns. No, his other guns. Neutral triangle will trigger a burst of machine gun fire worth just 9 AP. You can increase that amount by pressing left or right just after you fire in order to run and gun. This is the only projectile attack in the game that lets you move while using it, and it will net you around 24 AP if all the shots are on target. To increase that amount even further, you can run towards your opponent while firing and press squared to hit them with the rifle. This hit alone is worth an extra 30 AP. Forward and triangle brings out Drake's Magnum. This has a similar effect to Sweet Tooth's shotgun, but is more suited for mid-range, as it's easily interrupted up close. Frustratingly, it also passes straight over some of the smaller characters. Up and triangle brings out the grenade launcher. This is a significantly better version of up and square. The grenades travel in a shorter but higher arc and will also explode on contact. This is also Drake's pretty much only anti-air option. Down and triangle is another stinker. This activates a chain gun that Drake initially points to the ground when he begins firing and slowly brings up as the attack continues. Anyone hit by it will be ejected. This can be effective against a cluster of enemies, but the attack is so slow and so many shots are wasted while the gun is pointed at the ground that it's just not worth the risk. Avoid. Drake's aerial triangle moves are also mediocre. Aerial neutral triangle does allow you to cover distance and deal damage at the same time, but it's inaccurate and yields just 8 AP. Aerial forward and triangle remains unchanged, as does aerial up and triangle. But you can add aerial down and triangle to the avoid list. This fires an Uzi spray with a short range and an absolutely terrible attack radius that makes it difficult to combo out of. To make matters worse, it's weak enough on its own, worth just 10 AP. The circle button covers some truly bizarre attacks of varying effectiveness. Neutral circle, for example, will become your best friend. This causes Drake to kick an oil drum that will roll across the stage until it explodes. Upon hitting an opponent, it will sweep them for 10 AP. If anyone is caught in the drum's explosion, they will be ejected for 30 AP. You can also explode the drum prematurely by shooting it. Forward and circle fires a tranquilizer gun that is slightly faster than the Magnum but has a shorter range. This attack will not only yield 10 AP, but will also slow the walking speed of the opponent it hits for a limited time. Since it doesn't slow down their attacks, however, it's another relatively useless move. Up and circle conjures a zipline, a handy tool for covering distance. Drake can collide with an opponent while travelling down it, but dropping them for 20 AP. Upon leaving the zipline, Drake will perform a roll that will further damage any nearby opponent for 10 AP. But overall, this is a difficult move to aim, so don't rely on it for building your meter. Down in circle activates Drake's strangest attack of all, the wall. While crouched behind this wall, Drake is invulnerable to most attacks. If he's attacked from the other side, however, he will exit the move. You can also exit the move manually by pressing circle again. Drake has several options from this position. He can throw one of his useless grenades with up and square, blind fire with his machine gun on neutral triangle, fire one of his useful grenades with up and triangle, or strike at nearby opponents with his rifle on neutral square. You can also hop over to the other side of the wall by pressing left or right on the analog stick. I can't think of a situation where this move would be especially effective, but it can annoy other players if used in the right position. Most of the aerial circle attacks resemble their grounded counterparts. Neutral circle works identically in the air, but is slightly easier to follow up with another attack. Aerial forward and circle will fire the tranquilizer diagonally downwards instead of straight forwards, and aerial up and circle will spawn a zipline with a slightly steeper incline. Aerial down and circle, however, is a completely different move, in which Drake conjures a floor and drops through it, crushing any opponents underneath him. This is an excellent individual move due to its very wide attack radius and the fact that Drake will automatically roll out of the move when it finishes. It will yield 20 AP against a single opponent. Just like his general moveset, Drake's combos are a mixed bag. His strongest ones require unforgiving timing, which, in the chaotic All-Stars arena, is a coveted skill. I personally find shorter 2 or 3 hit combos to be more effective, so here are a couple of those you can try. The oil drum is an excellent combo starter. Here's a good one you can pull off entirely from mid-range. Launch the drum with neutral circle. As soon as it hits the opponent, whip out the magnum with forward and triangle and blast them away. The drum works just as well from close range in its aerial form. Launch it with aerial neutral circle, and when you hit the ground, press neutral triangle and run forward into the opponent. Then press square to end the combo. If you can, open instead with aerial down and square for extra AP. Once you hit the ground, jump immediately and launch the drum. Then attack with neutral triangle and square as before. If you're dead set on pulling off some high yielding combos, there are a couple I can recommend. This first one uses just one attack button, but it does require a little bit of timing to get the most out of it. Begin with aerial down and square, and then follow up with forward and square when you hit the ground. Now you've butt dropped the opponent, slide through them with down and square. When you stand up, quickly turn around and wait for a split second for the opponent to fall to your level. Then finish with the 3-hit combo on neutral square. If you don't wait at all, the final hit will likely miss. If you wait too long, the opponent will recover. All told, this is worth 90 AP, which isn't bad, but you can alter the end of this combo to push you over the AP threshold. After you stand up and turn to face the opponent, instead of the 3-hit neutral square combo, press neutral triangle to fire the machine gun and then run towards them. Hitting square to bat them away will send you over the threshold for 135 AP. You could settle for that, but there's one more alteration you can make to this combo that could net you a whopping 158 AP. Start as before with aerial down and square, forward and square, down and square. Once you've stood up, turn around and hit the opponent with forward and square as fast as you can. I find that mashing square while holding forward helps here. As soon as you struck them, mash neutral triangle to start firing your machine gun. As soon as you fire the first bullet, run towards them and bat them with square to finish. If you manage to get in every bullet possible, you'll have just earned 158 AP. There are other combos that can break the AP threshold, but after numerous attempts, I just can't pull any of them off in a regular match, so I won't be showing them. Let's move on to the supers. While an unfortunate percentage of Drake's moveset is lacking to say the least, his supers are anything but. His level 1 takes a while to get used to, but is otherwise effective against opponents at mid-range or in the air. Upon activation, Drake will throw an explosive canister a fair distance and detonate it with his magnum. Anyone caught in the satisfyingly large blast radius will be killed. This is an incredibly long process by default, but the key here is that, again, just like in Uncharted, you can prematurely explode the canister by pressing one of the attack buttons. Either way, this super simply will not work at close range, so be sure to back up before you use it. And one more thing to note. If you've thrown the canister but are attacked before you've detonated it, it won't go off at all. Drake's level 2 super is fantastic. He summons a giant pillar and pushes it over, killing anyone caught underneath it. The pillar will split into 3 segments as it falls. The environment will not prevent its descent, but it may alter it. Careful timing of this super can take out opponents on multiple levels, and when used in a corner it's almost unavoidable. You'll be pleased to hear that Drake's level 3 super is also worth saving up for. This is a handicap super that turns all the opponents into zombie-like creatures that Drake can kill in one hit with his golden gun. The golden gun has an auto-aim, so you just have to be within mid-range of your opponent to kill them, though the gun is significantly less accurate when the opponent is airborne. The rate of fire is also very slow, so pick your shots wisely, and you should average about 4 kills, 6 if you're quick or on a small stage. If you ever find yourself on the receiving end of this super, you can still fight back by pressing any of the attack buttons to stun Drake from close range. Nathan Drake has his fair share of flaws. His moveset contains more unwieldy attacks than most characters, and very few of his strongest combos are possible to pull off in regular play. In my personal opinion, it would take at least an intermediate player to be effective with him. That said, where Drake's limited repertoire is the risk, his more useful and unique moves, plus his excellent supers, are the just reward. Let's wrap up with our key tips. The oil drum on neutral circle will annoy the living daylights out of your opponents, and leave them open for some quick combos. Remember that Drake is equally effective at mid-range as he is at close range. The former is where you want to make use of the Magnum. Either learn when to use Drake's more impractical attacks, like up and square or down and circle, or just ignore them outright. Finally, get some target practice in with the level 1, and you'll have a dangerous trio of supers at your disposal. That's it for this week. I've been Jack from the Beard Network, and be sure to come back next week for another All-Star Guide.